I was sitting at my own dining table, starving. That's the part people don't understand when they hear this story later. It wasn't just the broken arm or the pain pulsing through my bones. It was the fact that food sat inches away from me, steaming, rich, expensive, and I couldn't reach a single bite. My right arm was wrapped in a thick white cast, heavy as concrete. It rested uselessly against my side, throbbing with every heartbeat. The doctors called it a clean fracture, but there was nothing clean about how it happened. I knew the sound of bone breaking. After 30 years in operating rooms, you don't forget that snap. The smell of roast duck filled the room. Sweet apples, butter, herbs, the kind of meal families make to celebrate something. But this wasn't a celebration. It was a performance. Across from me, my son-in-law lounged in my late husband's chair like he owned it. Jacket off, tie loosened, grease on his fingers, confidence dripping from him like sweat. "Come on, eat up," he announced loudly, slicing into the duck like a caveman. "Food's getting cold." I stared at my empty plate. Fine china, gold mem, a wedding gift from decades ago, untouched. Around the table sat his guests, people from his office, people who depended on his signature for promotions and paychecks. They avoided my eyes. Fork-scraped plates, no one said a word. My daughter finally broke the silence. "My husband had to teach me a lesson," she said calmly, like she was explaining bad weather. "Teach me a lesson." I felt something tighten in my chest. Not fear, not sadness, something colder. My son-in-law laughed and raised his glass. "Old folks gotta learn their limits. She thinks she still runs things." He looked straight at me. His smile was wide, cruel, proud. "My daughter," added, cutting her food into tiny pieces, refusing to meet my gaze. "Coordination isn't what it used to be." That was the lie they agreed on. I tried to move the platter with my left hand. Too heavy, too far. Asking would mean begging. I don't beg. The grandfather clock in the corner ticked steadily. Tick-tock. The same clock my father wound every Sunday morning. It never rushed, never stopped. My son-in-law poured himself another drink. House needs order. He pays the bills, makes the rules. I lifted my eyes to the clock. 7:59 p.m. I straightened my back, ignoring the pain screaming through my arm. "Tavon," I said quietly. The room froze. "You're sitting in my husband's chair, and you have exactly 1 minute left in it." He laughed so hard he nearly choked. 1 minute, he mocked. "What you gonna do, tie me?" I didn't answer. I just watched the second hand move, because what he didn't know, what none of them knew, is that this silence wasn't weakness. It was a countdown, and when that clock hit 8, the doorbell rang, changing everything he thought he controlled. The second hand kissed the 12, right on time. The doorbell rang. Not a polite chime, not a friendly tap. It was long, sharp, demanding, like whoever stood outside expected obedience, not hospitality. The sound cut through the room and landed heavy on the table. My son-in-law flinched just for a split second. Then he smiled wide and smug, wiping his mouth with his napkin. "That'll be the notary," he said, standing up unsteady but confident. "Business before dessert." Release washed over my daughter's face. She exhaled like someone who'd been holding their breath underwater. "Please, Mama," she whispered without looking at me. "Just sign it and let this end." I said nothing. Tavon staggered toward the hallway, humming under his breath. I listened to his footsteps aid, slow and careless. He was already counting money in his head. He opened the door. And then, nothing. No greeting, no small talk, no fake laughs. Just silence. Thick, heavy, the kind that makes your skin crawl. "What an honor," Tavon stammered from the hallway. His voice didn't sound like his own anymore. It was thinner, smaller. "Governor, sir, I didn't know." Governor. Every fork stopped mid-air. My daughter's wine glass slipped from her fingers and clinked against the table. Two men stepped into view first. Tall, broad, dressed in dark suits that screamed authority without a single badge in sight. They scanned the room with eyes that missed nothing and forgave no one. Then he appeared, Governor Cassius Thorne. Silver hair, military posture, calm in the way storms are calm right before they break. He held a small bouquet of blue flowers in his hands, completely out of place against the weight of his presence. My son-in-law backed into the dining room like a man being pushed by an invisible force. His face had drained of color. "Everyone up! Stand up! That's the governor!" No one moved. The governor didn't look at them. He didn't look at my daughter. He walked straight to me. His eyes dropped to my empty plate, then to my cast, then back to my face. His jaw tightened. He knelt. Right there on my hardwood floor, expensive suit and all. The room stopped breathing. He set the flowers gently beside my plate and covered my good hand with his, steady, warm, familiar. "You said you fell," he said quietly. I didn't answer. His gaze hardened, not at me, but at the room. "And you didn't say you were starving." He stood, slowly, like gravity had changed direction. He turned toward the chair at the head of the table, the one my son-in-law had been sitting in minutes earlier, and rested his hand on it. Without a word, Tavon stumbled backward like he'd been burned. The governor sat. And just like that, power changed hands. What the governor did next didn't involve shouting, threats, or police, but it would destroy everything Tavon built. The governor didn't raise his voice. That's what scared everyone the most. He adjusted the napkin on his lap like he'd sat at that cable 1,000 times before. Calm, precise, unrushed. The kind of calm that comes from knowing you don't have to explain yourself to anyone in the room. My son-in-law stood behind him, swaying slightly, hands clasped together like a nervous child waiting outside the principal's office. "Governor Thorne," Tavon said, forcing a laugh. "This is all a misunderstanding, family stuff. You know how it is." The governor didn't even look at him. Instead, he reached for the platter of roast duck. With one smooth motion, he pulled it closer, picked up the knife, and began cutting the meat, not hacking at it, not tearing it apart, but slicing carefully, clean, controlled. He cut small pieces, bite-sized, the way you prepare food for someone who's injured. No one spoke. The only sound in the room was the steady tick-tock of the clock and the soft scrape of steel against porcelain. When he finished, he placed the fork gently into my left hand. "Eat," he said. Not a command, an invitation. My fingers trembled, but I did it. I lifted the fork, took the bite. Warm, salty, real. My stomach clenched, then slowly relaxed like it remembered what safety felt like. Only then did the governor speak again. "So," he said, wiping his hands, "who broke her arm?" The words landed like a dropped plate. Tavon chuckled nervously. "Oh, come on now, nobody broke anything. She's old. Falls happen." My daughter nodded too fast. "Yes, she tripped. We wanted to call a doctor, but she refused." I swallowed my food. There are no stairs in this condo, not a single one. Silence slammed into the room. The governor's eyes lifted. No stairs, he repeated softly. Tavon opened his mouth, closed it, tried again. I meant earlier, somewhere else. Stress makes people misspeak. The governor stood. Up close, he towered over Tavon, didn't touch him, didn't threaten him, just stood there, invading his space, forcing him back until his shoulders pressed against the china cabinet. I've seen men fall, the governor said evenly, and I've seen men block blows. He glanced at the cast on my arm. This, he continued, is a defensive fracture. Tavon's face collapsed. The governor turned slightly. Major? One of the men near the door spoke into a radio, quiet, professional. Call the DA. I want a full audit. 5 years. Start now. Tavon exploded. You can't do this. This is my house. I finally looked straight at him. No, I said, it isn't. And that's when I reached for the document he never thought to check, the one that proved he'd already lost everything. Tavon kept shouting. That's what small men do when the ground disappears under their feet. They get loud, they puff up, they try to scare the truth back into hiding. This is my place, he yelled, jabbing a finger toward me. I pay the bills. I take care of her. She don't even know what year it is half the time. My daughter stood frozen, eyes darting between him and the governor like a trapped animal trying to decide which fire to run toward. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Governor, I said calmly, please pass me the red folder. The room went still again. One of the men standing behind the governor handed him a thin folder stamped with the city seal. He didn't ask questions. He already knew this moment mattered. The governor placed it in front of me. With my left hand, I opened it slowly. Inside was a single document, old paper, official stamps, clean signatures, the kind of paper that doesn't care about yelling. Tavon leaned forward, squinting. What is that? This, I said, turning it so he could see the header, is a deed of gift. My daughter sucked in a sharp breath. 10 years ago, I donated this condo to the city hospital board in memory of my husband, in memory of my career. Tavon's mouth opened. Nothing came out. There's only one clause. I retain the right to live here for the rest of my life. My daughter's voice cracked. Mama, you gave the condo away? Yes. The color drained from Tavon's face like someone pulled a plug. You broke my arm trying to force me to sign papers for something that was never mine to give. He staggered back. No, that's not how this works. I need that money. You beat me for a ghost. That's when he collapsed, not figuratively, literally. He slammed down the cabinet and hit the floor, suit wrinkling, pride evaporating. He stared at the document like it was radioactive. I'm done, he whispered. I'm finished. Then he crawled on his knees on my hardwood floor. Mama, please, I didn't know. Forgive me. The people I owe, they'll kill me. Help me. I pulled my feet back. Behind him, my daughter dropped to her knees, too. Mama, please. He forced me. I was scared. Save us. I looked at both of them. 2 people begging for mercy. One who married into my life. One I gave birth to. And in that moment, I realized something that hurt more than my broken arm. Only one of them had betrayed me willingly. And when I finally told my daughter the truth she didn't want to hear, her world shattered even faster than his. My daughter's hands were shaking as she clutched my knee. Her mascara had run. Her hair was a mess. She didn't look like the confident woman who once corrected my posture and mocked my old school ways. She looked small now, desperate. "Mama," she whispered, "I'm your baby. Please, you wouldn't turn your back on your own child." That sentence used to destroy me. Tonight, it didn't. I gently but firmly pulled my leg away from her grip. The movement sent a sharp jolt of pain through my broken arm, but I welcomed it. Pain keeps you honest. "You're lying," I said quietly. Her head snapped up. "What?" "You didn't try to help me," I continued, my voice steady. "You didn't reach for the phone. You didn't scream. You didn't protect me." She opened her mouth to argue. I didn't let her. "I remember everything," I said. "I was on the floor, crying, and you leaned down and told me to be quiet so the neighbors wouldn't hear." Her lips trembled. "You were afraid," I said, "but not for me. You were afraid of losing comfort." The words landed hard. Behind her, Tavon let out a broken whimper. "She's lying," he said weakly. "She wanted the money. She said sell the place." My daughter spun toward him. "You monster!" They turned on each other instantly, like rats on a sinking ship. I watched them without emotion. This wasn't grease. This was exposure. The governor's phone buzzed on the table. He glanced at it once, then set it face down. "Your audit is moving fast, very fast." Tavon froze. "What audit?" my daughter whispered. "The one that found the illegal storage operation in the basement, counterfeit goods, untaxed inventory." Tavon screamed. They dragged him up. Handcuffed, snapped shut. The sound echoed through the room, louder than any shout. As they pulled him toward the door, he twisted his head back. "Don't let them take me! Mama, please!" I didn't move. The door slammed. Silence followed. My daughter sat frozen on the floor, staring at the empty space where her husband had been. "Where do I go?" she asked faintly. The governor answered before I could. "You're leaving tonight." She looked at me. I didn't stop him. Sometimes silence is the answer. But the final test wasn't sending them away. It was proving to myself that I was never helpless to begin with. The apartment felt different after they left. Not empty, clean, like a room after surgery, when the chaos is over and the patient is finally stable. Windows were cracked open. Night air drifted in, cool and honest, pushing out the stink of alcohol, fear, and cheap cologne. The grandfather clock kept ticking. Tick-tock. The governor's people moved quietly, clearing plates, straightening chairs, wiping the table like the night never happened. No one rushed me. No one pitied me. That mattered. Eventually, it was just the two of us at the table. Steam curled up from 2 cups of tea. Real tea, strong, the kind my husband used to make when he knew I'd had a hard day. The governor sat across from me, hands folded, eyes soft but alert. "Do you need anything?" he asked. "A nurse, security, a hospital transfer." I looked down at my cast, then at my left hand. "No," I said, "I need to finish something." He followed my gaze. At the far end of the table sat a single untouched slice of red velvet cake, thick frosting, perfect layers, a silver fork beside it. I nodded toward it. "Slide that over here." He blinked, then gently pushed the plate toward me. I stared at my left hand. It wasn't the hand I trusted. It wasn't steady like my right used to be. It shook a little. Old age, shock, reality. Tavon had laughed at this hand, said I couldn't even feed myself. I wrapped my fingers around the fork, awkward, unfamiliar, but firm. Slowly, carefully, I cut into the cake. The fork slipped once. I steadied it, tried again. The bite came apart. I lifted it to my mouth and ate. The sweetness hit me harder than I expected, not because of sugar, but because I did it myself. "I'm not helpless," I said quietly. The governor nodded. "I know." I took another bite. For the first time in years, I felt full, not just in my stomach, but in my spine, upright, solid. I set the fork down. "Sometimes," I said, staring at the dark window where city lights flickered, "you don't cut out the disease right away. You wait until it shows itself completely." He smiled faintly. "You waited." "Yes," I said, and then I operated. The clock chimed, not loud, just enough to mark the moment. But the story didn't end that night, because consequences have a way of spreading far beyond one dinner table. The news moved faster than I expected. By morning, Tavon's name was everywhere, whispered in offices, typed into emails, spoken in careful half-sentences by people suddenly pretending they'd never liked him. Corruption charges, abuse allegations, financial audits, the kind of trouble that doesn't fade with a good lawyer. People who once laughed at his jokes stopped answering calls. Funny how that works. I woke up late the next day, sore but clear-headed. Sunlight spilled across the bedroom floor, warm and forgiving. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I needed to brace myself before opening my eyes. No shouting, no footsteps pacing outside my door, no fear. A nurse arrived mid-morning, sent quietly by the governor, no fanfare. She checked my arm, adjusted the sling, and asked if I felt safe. "Yes," I said without hesitation. That word tasted new. Safe. By afternoon, the phone rang, then rang again. Old colleagues, former students, people who had heard just enough of the story to know something serious had happened, but not enough to know how close I'd come to breaking. One voice surprised me. My daughter. She didn't cry this time, didn't beg, didn't accuse. "I'm at a hotel," she said flatly. "They questioned me for hours." I stayed silent. "I don't know what's going to happen," she continued flatly. "They said I might be charged too." I waited. "You were right," she whispered finally, "about everything." That was all. No apology, no ownership, just fear. "I need time," I said. "Don't call again until you figure out who you are without him." She hung up without answering. That night, I sat alone at the dining table. Same chair, same clock, different air. I ate soup with my left hand, slow, careful, independent. Each small movement felt like rebellion. A week later, the governor stopped by once more, alone this time, no suits, no guards. They found more than expected. He's done. I nodded. And your daughter? He asked gently. She'll survive, or she won't. Either way, that's her work now. He studied me for a moment. You don't regret it? I thought about the pain, the betrayal, the broken bone. Then I thought about the fork. No, I said. I regret waiting as long as I did. He smiled, stood, and shook my hand like an equal. After he left, I walked to the window. The city buzzed below, loud, alive, unbothered. So was I. But the hardest consequence wasn't prison or public shame. It was the silence that followed when blood ties finally snapped. Silence sounds different when it's earned. In the days that followed, my apartment stayed quiet. Not the tense, suffocating quiet I'd lived with for years, but a soft one. The kind that lets you hear your own thoughts again. The kind that doesn't flinch when the phone rings. I rearranged the house slowly. Not because I needed to, but because I wanted to. I moved the chair Tavon used to sit in, packed his leftover things into boxes without opening them. I didn't rush. Rushing belongs to fear. At night, the pain in my arm flared like a dull reminder of what it cost to get here. I let it hurt. Healing isn't painless, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. People kept asking if I was okay. I told them the truth. I'm learning. Learning how to eat with my left hand. Learning how to walk through my own home without shrinking. Learning how to stop explaining myself. One afternoon, I found my daughter's old childhood drawings tucked inside a drawer. Stick figures, big smiles, a house with smoke curling from the chimney. I sat on the bed and stared at them longer than I expected. Loving a child doesn't end when they break your heart. That's the part nobody warns you about. But love also doesn't mean sacrifice without limit. The hospital board sent flowers, a thank you note. They called me a pillar of integrity. I laughed at that. Integrity isn't heroic. It's just refusing to lie to yourself. Weeks passed. My arm healed slowly. So did I. One evening, I cooked dinner alone for the first time in years. Nothing fancy, just soup and bread. I sat at the table and ate in peace, the clock ticking steady beside me. Tick-tock. No countdown this time, just time moving forward. I realized then that I wasn't angry anymore, not at Tavon, not even at my daughter. Anger burns fuel. I didn't need fuel. I needed ground. I stood at the sink, watching the city lights blink on outside the window, and felt something subtle inside me, something solid. I survived. Not because someone rescued me, because I chose myself. But forgiveness came knocking next, and I had to decide whether opening that door would cost me my peace. Forgiveness has a funny way of showing up when you're not looking for it. It doesn't knock politely. It doesn't wait for permission. It just appears, usually wearing the face of someone who already hurt you once. 3 months after that dinner, my arm was healing well enough to lose the cast. My right hand felt stiff, weak, unfamiliar, but it was mine again. That morning, the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Through the peephole, I saw my daughter. She looked thinner, older, like life had finally stopped cushioning her falls. I didn't open the door right away. When I did, I didn't step aside. "Mama," she said softly. No tears, no drama, just exhaustion. "May I come in?" "No," I answered. Her face flinched, but she nodded. She deserved honesty now. "I'm not here to ask for help," she said quickly. I needed to see you. I waited. They sentenced him long time. I felt nothing. They said I won't be charged, she added, but I lost everything else. Still nothing. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, she said, finally breaking. I just need to know if you're okay. I steadied her. This wasn't the woman who sat silently while I was hurt. This was someone cracked open by consequences. I am, I said, because I learned something. What? She whispered. That love doesn't mean access. Her shoulders sagged. I love you, I continued, but I won't live with you. I won't explain myself to you, and I won't pretend what happened didn't change us. She nodded, tears sliding down silently. I understand, she said. That surprised me. We stood there a long moment. Then she stepped back. I won't come again unless you ask, she said. I watched her walk away. I closed the door, not in anger, in peace. But healing didn't mean forgetting, and the final lesson came when I realized what strength really looks like. People think strength is loud. They picture shouting, slamming doors, public victories where everyone claps and the bad guy gets dragged away in cuffs. That's not strength. That's just noise. Real strength is quieter than that. It's waking up alone and not feeling empty. It's sitting at your own table and not scanning the room for danger. It's trusting your body again after it betrayed you, or after someone else did. When my cast finally came off, the doctor told me not to rush things. Take it slow, he said. Your arm's been through trauma. So had the rest of me. I practiced writing again. My name looked shaky at first, then steadier. Muscle memory came back like an old friend who needed time to remember me. One afternoon, I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. Gray hair, lines I earned, eyes clearer than they'd been in years. I didn't look like a victim. I looked like a woman who survived herself. Neighbors stopped me sometimes. They'd lower their voices and say things like, "We heard what happened. You're brave." I'd smile politely. They didn't see the nights I sat with doubt. They didn't hear the arguments I had with my own heart. They didn't feel how heavy love can be when it turns against you. Bravery isn't fearlessness. It's choosing dignity even when love begs you to stay small. I donated more of my time to the hospital board, mentored young doctors, told them the truth no one teaches in textbooks. You can save a life and still lose yourself if you don't set boundaries. Some nodded, some didn't understand yet. They will. On quiet evenings, I still hear my daughter's voice in my head sometimes, wonder where she is, whether she's learning, whether she's choosing better. But wondering doesn't mean returning. That door stays closed because peace is fragile, and I fought too hard for mine. I sit at my table now, every bite, eating whatever I want, however slowly I want. The clock ticks, the city hums. My home feels like mine again. And that's when I finally understood it. Strength isn't revenge. Strength isn't punishment. Strength is refusing to hand your life back to people who proved they'd break it again. And just when I thought the story was finished, one final moment reminded me why survival is the greatest victory of all. I thought the hardest part was over. Turns out, healing likes to test you one last time, just to see if you really learned the lesson. It happened on an ordinary afternoon. No warning, no dramatic buildup. I was at the grocery store, standing in the checkout line, balancing a basket with my right arm like a small personal victory. My hand still ached sometimes, but it worked. That mattered. That's when I heard my name. Soft, careful. I turned. It was my daughter. She looked startled to see me there, like she hadn't expected real life to keep going without her permission. She wasn't crying, she wasn't smiling either, just standing there. "I didn't plan this," she said quickly. "I was just shopping." "So was I replied. We stood there, two women with shared blood and very different scars. "I've been going to counseling," she said after a moment, "trying to understand why I became someone I don't recognize." I nodded, not approving, not rejecting, just acknowledging. "I don't want anything," she added. "No money, no place to stay." "I know," I said. She looked surprised. "How?" "Because if you did," I answered, "you wouldn't be standing this far away." That landed. The cashier called for the next customer. Life didn't pause for our reunion. "I'm glad you're okay," she said quietly. "I am," I replied. And for the first time, I didn't feel like I was trying to convince either of us. She hesitated, then stepped back. "I won't follow you," she said quietly. "I just wanted you to know I'm trying." I believed her. And that's why I didn't invite her in. Growth doesn't need rewards. It needs consistency. We parted without hugs, without tears, without promises. And somehow that felt right. In the parking lot, I loaded groceries into my car using both hands, slow, careful, independent. The sun was warm, the air smelled like summer. I sat in the driver's seat for a moment before starting the engine. I passed the test. Because the real ending wasn't about them at all. It was about what I finally chose for myself. People always want a clean ending. They want hugs, apologies, a family photo where everyone smiles like nothing ever happened. Real life doesn't work like that. Sometimes the happy ending is just waking up without fear. I still live in the same apartment, same walls, same clock, but it's no longer a cage. It's a sanctuary. Every object feels lighter now, like the house itself exhaled after holding its breath for years. My arm healed, not perfectly. It aches when it rains. It reminds me of what I survived. I don't resent that. Scars are receipts. I cook for myself, eat slowly, set the table even when I'm alone. Dignity doesn't require an audience. People ask if I forgive them. Here's the truth. Forgiveness is optional. Peace is not. I didn't choose revenge. I didn't choose cruelty. I chose distance, and distance saved my life. My daughter and I speak occasionally, carefully, like two people learning a new language. I don't rush her healing, and I don't interrupt my own. That's the boundary. The governor once told me something I carry with me now. Power isn't about control, he said. It's about knowing when to let go. He was right. I let go of fear. I let go of guilt. I let go of the lie that suffering makes you noble. One evening, I sat at my table with a slice of cake and a fork in my right hand, the same hand they said was useless. It shook a little, but it worked. I took the bite myself. That mattered more than anything else that happened, because this story was never about punishment. It was about choice. And when the moment came, when everything I loved tried to break me, I didn't disappear. I stood still. I chose life. If you were in my place, would you choose family or dignity? Let me know in the comments.